So, welcome to our second podcast. And as usual in our podcast, we always have a guest. This time we have Henri, our friend from Albania, Henri Ndreca. And this time we're doing online podcast. But for sure, next time we will have Henri in the studio where we will be able to talk more directly. And we will, of course, in this industry that we are tackling, blockchain technology, crypto, AI, and everything, there is always progress, there is always changes, there is always new things coming along. So I'm sure with one podcast, we won't be able to capture everything. So welcome, Henri, again to our podcast. Please, could you introduce us a bit more about
Yes.
your profile?
Best Nick, first of all, thank you for inviting me, and sorry that I could not join you physically, even though I really wanted to come to Pristina. And as I told you, I also have some other friends that I'd like to meet. But in a nutshell, my name is Henri. I describe myself as a crypto enthusiast, first of all. And secondly, as a builder in the space in Albania and for Albanian-speaking countries. Also as the contributor, as an event speaker, writer, and someone that people love to chat and ask questions about crypto and blockchain. That's why we're here today. And it's very true when you say that the space moves so fast and you can't describe anything about blockchain or crypto in one episode.
Yeah.
But I'll be here to answer your main questions and go into details about those.
Amazing. Thank you. And I'm really happy we had a chance to meet in another AMA Twitter. And I heard you speaking, even though we had short parts where we had to share our experiences. I was intrigued about your work and your passion. And I think, and again, what we need people in these days when it comes to blockchain technology and like the recent changes. Again, it's my personal belief, but I think we need people with passion because the experience gets created as we go along. It is something new. I would say like we have opened a new door and it's a new environment. And it's important that we find ways how to adapt with this new environment and how would it solve the current problems that we face at this stage, that were created through traditional systems, but we as society, we're moving along and the needs and requirements are changing. And the idea is like how to create some sort of safe spaces as the interaction grows, and we are not limited anymore to the geographical scope where we live. Just as we have this podcast, you're another country, I'm another country, but everything seems possible. People tend to work, from different parts of the world, but yet be connected in a way. And again, we as society, we're being more and more exposed. And again, as I said, we're using these tools. And the whole goal and idea is like, how do we increase productivity, create safe spaces in a way, and again, as I said, maybe before you would work with people that surround you, and the level of trust was based on if you had some troubles, you had to go and walk to the person and find the person. But right now, like it's impossible. And how do we build these trusted systems while we are say encountering and working with different colleagues throughout the world? And yes, I mean, we had the Internet of Web 2.0 as one of the tools that helped us to the extent that, we grew, and now we have Web 3.0. And could you give me a bit of your experience? Why did it intrigue you, Web 3.0? What's different?
Yes. So first of all, I 100% agree about the thing that only passion can make us move forward, passion and collaboration between each other, because knowledge, I mean, we were lucky to be raised in an era where knowledge was easily accessible. Like we weren't limited to the local library, right? We were only limited by a computer and internet connection. And that is what Web 2 is, because I started this just to say that Web 2 is like a global layer of information. Like just imagine a global library of information, which everyone can just access with an internet connection, right? You just go there, you just type something, what you want to look for, and the information that you are looking for comes out of your screen. You don't have to ask the librarian or to find the books and to open the pages to find that information. Now, we call Web 2.0 our current stage of the internet, let's say, from year 2000 and right now, where we can read and we can write information. people can, let's say, write articles, they can post stuff on the internet, and other people can read them and they can interact with them. But it's only two-dimensional. You
Right.
can only exchange information, not value.
Right.
So here is where Web3 comes along, and why it's called Web3. It's like the next step of the internet.
Mhm.
Now, on the Web3, you don't only exchange information, but you also exchange value,
Right.
which is money, right?
Mhm.
And until now, the only way that we could have to exchange money was peer-to-peer in person. We can exchange cash, or we can exchange something of value, like some gold or some other thing that the other counterparty finds valuable. Or you can do that through banks as a final intermediary, let's say. I
Right.
mean, you can use PayPal and you can use all the credit cards, but still they route through bank infrastructure, right?
Right.
So that is not on the internet. Banks do not function on the internet. They function on ledgers, they do their accounting, they have people, they write stuff and they agree and they say yes and they say so it's very like bureaucratic, if you could say.
Right.
Now, the way that we can transfer value over the internet is where blockchain and Bitcoin comes along. And it adds the internet this other layer
Mhm.
of not only exchanging the information, but also exchanging the value,
Right.
right? And my journey started when I discovered Bitcoin. I was 16 years old, to be honest, but
Mhm.
I really don't uh, remember, or I didn't give it so much importance. I didn't know what digital money is or what peer-to-peer transactions are. I didn't know that it was a breakthrough, let's say. And Web 3.0 wasn't coined at the time. Even blockchain wasn't coined at the time. It was just Bitcoin.
Right.
And then somebody coined the term blockchain. And later on, when Ethereum came out, and we can talk about Ethereum later on,
Mhm.
when Ethereum came out, then people started to realize that okay, internet is changing, and this is like a layer of value
Mhm.
exchange.
Mhm. So it's
So in
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, in the future, one of the other features of Web3
Mhm.
is that you will have one identity, right? Because we can now verify assets, which is money, Bitcoin, etc. There's only one of them, and you have it, and there is like this public ledger that you can't mess around with, right? And if you use an email address from Google to log in all your services, let's say you use that Google email address to have a Facebook account and to have a Slack account, a Discord account, all these other accounts.
Yeah.
So basically, you are dependent on Google
Right.
as a centralized party to hold your identity. Now with blockchains, it's been possible that you are not dependent on anybody. It's just this network which provides you the tool to have access, but you can manage your own identity, which means that one of the other features of Web3, besides value,
Mhm.
it's also that you will have one account and you will log through this one account to each other accounts. You don't have to have like 5 email addresses from
Yeah.
Google and 5 from Outlook, etc., etc. You just have one and you can log into every other website.
So it's amazing, like how that one thing is you said, like it brought, I mean, value to the value, like it brought value, not just exchange of information. And of course, as society, as people, we want to protect the value, and we really want to give some meaning to it. The second is, as you said, because I'm trying to recall and to see like things that we're trying to solve with Web 3.0, because always there is this discussion that there's some things out there that might work well, but there's some things that needs to be challenged because they're still holding to traditional systems, which first they were called maybe as an intermediator, still to create linkages between people, but now they're playing more the lower role of the power, basically making decisions for you in a way. So, and I think with this idea of Web 3.0, giving the power back to people, because it said that we are not being connected anymore just to share information, seeing how are we doing, but we actually are making decisions. We actually are building projects. We are building some sort of the future. And I think in society we want fairness, in a way. You mentioned very clearly as well, one of them, now with, I've been seeing that freelancing industry is really expanding. Just in US alone, there are more than 50 million people working as freelancers, and majority are being dominated of this percentage by young people. And even the Upwork and Fever, and I see it's opening jobs even in Asia and India. But still, the means of payment for the or being valued for the work that you do, they're using PayPal, which I myself learned recently that it takes between 30 to 40% of your income, which is a bit too much. That you do all
Yeah.
the work you do for years, and for them just like take with one hand, and I'm banalizing the way to explain, and then giving to the other. They're taking almost half of your earnings, which
Yeah.
it's a bit, like it's controlling, it's a bit manipulating, and especially the young generation with new discoveries, they tend to not allow this in a way. And I think you're younger than me, and because I don't know if you follow between the millennials or Generation Z. Generation Z are the people born between 92, I think 1992 to 2012, and they're bringing some new. They're challenging the system.
Yes, yes. I'm a Gen Z,
Gen Z, there you go.
if you yeah. But being raised in Albania, I also have some millennial characteristics,
Right,
But I've been tech savvy since I was young, so it helped me a lot to keep in touch with the Western culture, let's say. And yes, one of the pains that Web3 solves is also with freelancing and the future of work, basically.
yeah,
And I have this case in Albania. There is a lot of digital nomads,
yeah.
right? And I know one of them. I haven't met him personally, but I've talked with him, and he's the guy who is living in Saranda.
Hmm.
He's from Germany, and he's a freelancer basically, but he has chosen to be paid in crypto since, I don't know, like 5 to 7 years ago.
Right,
And because he understood what a wallet is and what your assets are, and the importance of keeping your assets
yeah,
with you, right? With no other party having access, let's say. So he used all this the income generated by the cryptos. It was also lucky because his assets grew in value, right?
right,
We all saw the bull market in 2017 and 2021, but he has chosen to be paid in crypto, and he has chosen to go and visit countries only with his wallet.
right,
So the idea is that when you put value and money on internet, you are really scalable, and you really do not have barriers, right?
right,
Because it's the same thing. If I'm writing a text, or if I'm writing a LinkedIn post right from Albania,
hmm,
people can reach it, be them in United States, or be them in Tokyo, or be them in Australia. So it's the same with payments. And the reason why PayPal is getting the big chunk of the commission is because PayPal at the end is just a user interface for you, right? They have connections. They are reliant and dependent on all these banks in Albania, in United States, in Germany, in Tokyo, in Asia, in Australia, for this settlement to be settled, right?
yeah,
So when you move this value on internet, it's only some packets going from here to some cables in the ocean, and that's it, right?
exactly,
And it solves a lot of problems, not only with freelancing and future of work, because as we know, like uh, Web2 made us possible to meet each other, right? To exchange information and to exchange culture and to exchange knowledge, which gave us opportunity to, let's say, come in the same page and sync with the world regarding our whole uh, our whole meaning of where we are going as a civilization, right?
yeah,
And that's one thing. But having a layer to exchange value, it's something that will allow fairness when it comes to financial markets, right?
hmm,
So one way that emerging countries such as Albania, Kosovo, Balkans, or other countries one way that they see that they are not very competitive with other markets like big financial centers, let's say New York, London, Tokyo,
Yeah.
is that when you want to borrow money to finance your mortgage, maybe
Mhm.
you see that your interest rate in Albania or in Kosovo is way higher than in New York or in London, right?
Yeah.
Because these countries, New York, London, they are the financial center where money comes into existence.
Right.
So it's the cheapest cost of creating money there. And as you scale towards emerging economies and underdeveloped economies, the harder it is for these people to take advantage of the markets, right? It becomes very expensive for the cost of money to reach these people, right? So, and crypto does this because they remove third parties from this equation, right? So it doesn't matter if your money is coming from New York or is it's coming from London or you are printing it from this other source.
Yeah.
Everybody can reach it at the same time, right?
As long as it's
And
coming.
yes, yes. So the problems that crypto solves and Web3 solves are fundamentally a paradigm shift. You know, it's a paradigm shift in the way that we live. It's like I was born in the internet era. I was grown with the internet era, right?
Yeah.
But so it's really hard for me to think about how the world was pre-internet.
Right.
But only my parents know that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So our kids, it will be like very easy for them to transact in this world. And when we talk about the metaverse and so on and so forth, it's not built for us at all. It's built for the future generations because they will come into this existence and they will exchange information, knowledge, and money
Yeah.
just through a device, right?
Yeah.
So another problem that touches countries like Albania and Kosovo is remittances, right? We have a big diaspora
Yeah.
in Europe, in States, Australia, whenever they are, and they love their country.
Yeah.
And they've been paying these third parties a lot of fees, a lot of money, just so their loved ones receive this money, right?
Exactly.
And with crypto, this cost, this commission fee just goes
Yeah.
very, very low, right? And it not only this money goes to our pockets at the end of the day, but it becomes easier to finance new projects and to
Yeah.
revitalize these countries. So
Yeah, exactly. So it solves many problems in terms of the speed, in terms of transparency, in terms of like issues that may occur, during the process, and that's why I think one of the things that the current systems that were created, they were solving problems to the extent that they could. But I think to what level we can understand that, like the new, in a way, the new requirements from the market, from the young people, from the new projects, from the innovations, to the what extent the old systems can hold them, and I think that's why they cannot respond to the needs in a right way, because they were not prepared for that. And as I said, like courts and banks and everything were created to basically respond to the things that they knew before, to the factories and the way they worked. But now, what are the challenges in how? Because we see that bear market, bull market, like keeps moving, going up and down, and it's hard to put a certain value to the things. And what are the challenges that will push this being stabilized in a way, the whole
yeah,
crypto and the blockchain. We
yeah,
see many cryptos coming just as a crypto, like not having any other projects behind them, and some tend to stay, some tend to fall. We see as well, that a lot of scammers, try to scam people, because again, it's like a new industry and not being understood properly. So what could it make more stable? Because we know this, we're going to need this in the future, and especially you as a young generation, you're involved in this. And what should we do, or like how would this shift?
yeah. Yes, yes. So what are the needed things for the vision to be fulfilled, let's say? And I'd say, first of all, crypto is yet speculative, right? So we believe in the vision, right? We know that the future will look like this,
Yeah.
but there is a whole world and a whole markets coordinating to know to build the right projects and to create the right standards for governments to implement, etc., etc. So one of the key things is obviously legal framework and legal regulation.
Mhm.
Most of the crypto coins are scams, to be honest, right? So it's just like a marketing stunt. You just come with a big, beautiful project, you market it, you create a promise, and then some other people, out of desperation or out of greed, I don't know, they just put their money there instead of keeping it in their pocket, and and then you there is this false narrative, this pump, and they dump. So it's the same story. Most of them are scams.
Yeah.
Then there are some very good projects, but uh, they are not scams, but they may be illegal in the way that they raised money, right? So it was not the proper way to raise money. But then there is Bitcoin, which is completely another universe. And one way for this vision to be built, it would obviously be governments regulating it in the right sense, in the correct sense, not supervising it and not creating keys for this decentralization to not happen, right?
Yeah.
But just creating.
Why don't the governments jump in? Sorry to interrupt you. Is it because they don't know how? Is it because they might lose the power?
They are actually taking big steps to regulate it,
Mhm.
and one of the biggest steps was took by European Union, and
Mhm.
they have this big framework called MiCA law. It's more than 1,000 pages long. So they really took the time to see cryptos in action and to see how the market reacted. So they know all about the scams. They know all about what is missing, how they should regulate it, how should keep people safe, etc., etc. So as we speak, United States and also EU, they are taking steps to put this legal framework for companies like those that we want to build to be able to be operate in a safe environment for users, right? Because at the end, all these projects will have users, and we really need to be safe when these projects do not scam people, they do not steal data, etc., etc. They do not steal assets because, as we said, we are now putting money in this layer. It's not only information.
Yeah.
So one thing is legal compliance, which is being worked at. The other thing uh, is more about user adoption, and this is more like a technology fit, right? Engineers have to work to make better apps and to make low barriers of entry for users, for the average user, right? Because we know that it's very hard for people to download this wallet into their browser and to take the seed phrase and to store it somewhere. So it's a lot of 5, 6 steps that they gotta take to be able to participate into this ecosystem. So I'd say that the more user-friendly the apps are,
Yeah.
the more consumer-based on your phone, etc., the the better chances it is for this technology to be adopted. And these are two main ones in the world. But for countries, emerging countries like Albania, one of the key challenges is education.
Mhm.
So one of the things that helps education for newer generations is the access to internet. So young kids, they learn by themselves. They don't need schools or universities anymore to teach them how to open a wallet, right? They just jump into Google, YouTube, and they learn it. But for us to really flourish, we just need, as a society,
Mhm.
to know not only where the world is going, but to
Yeah.
know how we can benefit from this, right? Because there's a lot of benefits from participating in these markets and from businesses from our countries to really adopt these technologies, right? In Albania, we still have more than 70% of population that uses cash, even though we have credit cards, right?
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
debit cards are also in Albania and Kosovo, we still use cash. It's like
Yeah.
this old mentality.
Yeah.
And this very strange and nice observation that I I had in Albania is that people are more prone to open a crypto wallet
Mm-hmm.
than to exchange with their debit card. So it's easier for them to open a Binance account and buy some tokens, some hot tokens, rather than put the money in the bank, issue a debit card, and pay with that in every POS system, right? So the jump that we are doing from cash to digital,
Mm-hmm.
we are skipping the credit cards and banks. So for me, it's like more education and awareness about how to use these technologies and how to integrate these technologies into our daily life.
Yeah. Yes,
So
make it more.
bringing,
Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead. Mm-hmm.
bringing awareness, let's say, and lowering the gap of financial and digital literacy.
Yeah.
We have to be as a society more prone to innovation and to use them.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask my next question. Like, how open are we to these? And again, does it come with a sense of like understanding or trusting, or again, as I said, it's something new that we are not aware of, and we're growing as we go along. And I think again, because we as society, as we said, we're being a lot of like we're having a lot of interconnection, and we seek the transparency, we seek speed. Time is one of the biggest issues for everybody. Everybody wants to save time, and with that comes along, we'll talk a bit about smart contracts as well. How do they
Yeah.
function? What problems do they solve? And then in general, like NFTs. I know you have experience with those as well. So how do you think these will as well come in handy, and what problems are they solving?
Yeah. Okay. So if Bitcoin is just money for the internet, it's just like digital gold.
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum is a platform which enables people, like everyone,
Yeah.
to create smart contracts. And these are open networks, right? Open network mean it's permissionless. You don't have to ask anybody permission to create or to build something in this network. It's open for everybody. It's like a public good, right? And the idea that the Ethereum now and platforms like Ethereum, which are a bunch,
Mm-hmm.
can offer you to build smart contracts. They are basically offering everybody in the world the opportunity to make contracts with each other on the internet,
Right.
and these are self-executing contracts. So before Ethereum, I mean, if we wanted to, I don't buy a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go to the notary or to a real estate agency,
Mm-hmm.
and they are like the third party who is the person of trust on this transaction between the party that has the property and he has the deed, right, on his name, and the buyer who has the money, right? So there is always this third party who verifies that this guy has the deed, he's the owner,
Yeah.
and this guy has the money, the right amount of money, and I'm the third party. I'm going to take a cut from this commission because I'm uh,
I'm going to ensure transparency.
intermediated.
And
Yeah, yeah, transparency. So
yeah.
basically, the contract was always dependent on a third party in the physical world, and it was always based on trust because I don't know, this third party may, I don't know, cooperate with this guy and I lose all my money, right? And on the digital world, these are what smart contract is. You know, you code, you program the contract.
Yeah.
So if we have the house in a token, let's say, so the house is represented by a token,
Right.
and a buyer has the money,
Mm-hmm.
then you just code, you create the smart contract that says uh, when person A pledges the token here and person B pledges the money here, then I'm going to make the swap,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, this simple transaction, imagine that this simple transaction, you can create many business logic and you can create a whole financial system on top,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So all the interactions that we have with each other on the real world
Mm-hmm.
are made possible and secure and transparent on the virtual world through the smart contracts. And this is very, very valuable because, as we said, this is how we save time and money when we do transactions. And smart contracts enabled us to create these NFTs, which are digital art, right? So If I create an art picture, it will be digital, and then I issue this art on a blockchain through a token, and this token just verifies that this art was put in blockchain by Henry, which is like this verified big artist,
Yeah.
that everybody knows.
Yeah.
But a person in Japan doesn't need to see me in the face to know that I am the creator of this. They just can track the account where this token was created, and they know that this token, this artwork is legit, right?
Yeah.
Is the right one. And we can track whenever I sell this artwork from this guy in Japan, this guy sells it to somebody in New York, this guy in New York sells it to somebody in London. You can track all this ownership, right?
Right.
And you know for sure that this artwork is the original one made by Henry in year 2000s, let's say,
Yeah.
and there is nobody that can tell me otherwise.
So the author is
So
not lost, and then, if I'm not mistaken, you get always royalty. Like your art
yes,
can go. Mhm.
yes. You can program into the smart contract if you want royalty or if you don't want any royalty. Most
Right.
artists they include a code where they say, let's say 5% of each sale goes to
Yeah.
this account.
Right.
And that is all automatic. You mean like you don't need to have an accountant for that. It just
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody buys your artwork, the 5% fee just goes to your wallet,
Yeah. You
right?
don't need a manager to go and negotiate or
You,
somebody.
yes, yes. You don't need to trust anybody about this. You
Yeah.
just have to write the contract once, do it right. It should be very well written.
Yeah.
No room for loopholes or
Yeah.
for exploits for hackers to come in and to mess with it. But
Yeah.
if you do it once and you are, I don't know, like a very successful artist, a singer or a painter, or I don't know, then you can take a commission fee for each sale, and you know 100% that that commission fee is taken and it goes into your wallet, and you don't need to trust anybody else.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
that's just one of the use cases that it's being used right now.
Yeah, and this again, as I said, it's important to point out the benefits and the things that we can take from them. And again, it's as a sort of revolution, if I may call this new industry. It's again to simplify people's lives in a way. And as I said, like it saves time, it saves money, it saves silly bureaucracies and hierarchies, which easily can be avoidable in a way. And again, because I know you have other meetings and we talked a bit about blockchain and crypto and NFTs, I would like as well to talk a bit about AI, ChatGPT. We've been using it and I use it
Oh
every
yeah.
day. And what do you think of it?
It's amazing. Just last night when ChatGPT 4 was unveiled,
Yeah.
I was having a chat with a friend of mine who is a developer, and he programmed a lot in machine learning, let's say.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, man, I mean, this ChatGPT 4 and this ChatGPT is like 0 to 1 moment, right? It's like they worked so hard to create this, and it's like this, they came from 0 to 1, right?
Yeah.
To unveil this tool.
Yeah.
And now, if you go from 1 to 100, it's very easy because the whole world has this tool and they can innovate a lot faster than these guys did. It's like based on this Peter Thiel book, if you have read it, or if you are aware. And the idea is that I was very young when Google came along and when Facebook came along, but to me it's like the next big tech company, this OpenAI, right? Is the next big Google.
Yeah.
And I would not say that we should be scared of AI, right? Because of course it has the potential to disrupt a lot of jobs.
Mhm.
But in the long run, this is how the society goes forward, right? I mean, these are all the cycles that we did,
Yeah.
all the industrial revolutions. I mean, at first we had all these people with horses who made sure that people were transported from A to B.
Right.
And then when cars came along, you know that a lot of people, they were like, oh no, now we won't have any more jobs as drivers, right?
Right.
But so it's like all this up and down and up and down, and maybe in the labor market, AI can bring some jobs down, but
Can
society
create new
improves by
demand.
itself. It,
Yeah.
it creates new demand, and society improves by itself. They will find something else to do with their free time, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, uh, tools like ChatGPT, they empower the individual. right? So people like us who have this entrepreneurial spirit, and we have been dependent on all these actors to do our tasks and our jobs. Now we have just this assistant who does it
Yeah,
better than them, you know, and you are not dependent on that anymore. You're let's say you can innovate faster and you can build
exactly.
faster.
You can
Yeah.
innovate faster and use your innovation and use your imagination, and then you don't have to go and read hundreds of books and ask so many people. It fastens. It's just because I mean, again, as I'm a big fan and I've been using it at Mira Murati, as we talked earlier. She's one of the I think the
CTO, yeah, CTO.
yeah. And she's from Kosovo, and like we met 10 years ago, and she even gave me a grant. We studied in the same university in Dartmouth. I wrote to her hoping that we'll be able to bring her in one of the podcasts. Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah.
But when people have jumps, it's hard to catch them, and I'm very happy and actually proud of her from being from this region and achieving this much. But yeah, I mean, it's been really bringing new changes, and it's helping people as we use internet, like to narrow their things that we actually want to get from it. It doesn't just throw you links, but then it gives you time to build, in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
It gives you time to focus on the grand things, on the harder problems, right?
Right. And it cuts. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it's basically just takes all the mechanical work, the low entry work, or
Yeah.
it just becomes your all-in-one assistant with that,
Yeah.
and gives you time and gives you focus to just pursue what is harder for the humanity, right?
Right. Yeah. It's amazing. Great. And thank you, Henry, again for your time. As I said, this is our first podcast. I would love as well to have you in studio. I will make sure that maybe in a couple of months when the weather gets better, you to jump by and stop and again talk about where we are and what's new in the world. I know if you want to share your some of the message at the end of the conversation. And
Uh, okay, there's a lot of messages, but I would just want for all our community from Albania,
yeah,
Kosovo,
share
and
your
all our
community on Telegram. Can you tell a bit before?
VIAL community. VIAL is this crypto project that I'm building
Mhm,
together with some friends, and we bootstrapped this community in Albania, and I invite everyone from Kosovo as well because I know you guys are very,
mhm.
let's say, forward-looking when it comes to technologies, and we have this 1,400 people in Telegram where we chat about crypto markets, new developments in the space, right? And we also have this Discord channel where we hold some free educational meetings and trainings.
Amazing.
And we are actually launching an app very soon, like
Mhm.
in April, which will incentivize walking and which will monetize walking with things. So you will be able to walk, get some points in return, and you can buy some goods and services in your local businesses. So we can power this green economy.
Amazing. So you make money by walking and stay healthy, and like you don't have to think.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a lot of hard work, but we will go about it.
Amazing. Thank you, Henry. I will make sure to share as well your links on the description. We'll put this video on YouTube and other social media. So thanks again for sharing your experience, your knowledge, and I would wish for us to meet again and to carry on.
Thank you, Besnik, for all your time and for all this that you are doing. And I hope that Mira hears this and she comes to your podcast. Yeah, because I'm sure that she's an inspiration
Yes.
for all entrepreneurs in Albania and Kosovo. I mean, the same way that Dua Lipa is for
Yeah.
singers and artists, right? We should follow these role models in the
Amazing.
world.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. So thank you again, Henry, and have a good day.